Hello everybody and welcome to part 18 of my Inca El Dorado series. In the last segment we had stolen a worker from America and then made peace, and we took the tenant to get the freedom fighters. And one thing I forgot to point out is the freedom fighters have a combat strength of 42, which is pretty insane at this part of the game. Our best alternative is 24, so we really could be using these forces to stomp. But instead we're using them to circle our cities because we had some profits buzzing around, and quite frankly I was irresponsible with the let me state it as I was inexperienced with the religion game. I've done religion before, but it was more from through the lens of liberty play, and so I chose a tenant that isn't very suitable for here, and as a result we have a lot fewer faith than what we probably should. Faith and faith return, quite frankly, because planting a profit or two would have probably made enormous sense. Alright, so we got our two culture city-states with spies. Elections rigged, so we gain influence, other people lose influence. That seems good. Buenos Aires cancels quest. I don't know what that means. It would be nice if it said what the quest was. None of that matters. Alright, this guy's going to put some food on that. And let's see what's going on. 2 turns. Am I reading that right? In 2 turns we're going to grow to this gold here. Wow, all the gold. You know, at the start of the game when I saw all the gold nearby, I never thought for a moment the capital would grow to consume pretty much all of it. We still have this one down here, but look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies. Literally one for every other AI in the game. That's nuts. Alright, anyways. He's doing a trading post. This worker was coming over to Cusco to help out. We'll just go put a turn in on that mine since, you know, it's almost all of our movement anyways. This guy's going to cross the river and then hit this farm up since we are at fertilizer. This is technically behind. I would have liked to have had that up for fertilizer, but this guy was moving up here onto this hill simply because stopping a camp from spawning here is more important than stopping a camp from spawning here, since a camp spawning here would attack these. It's really not that big of a deal. We now have 1 extra worker and quite the military, so I'm not worried, but we're going to do what we can to just not have to bother. We're kind of in cruise mode at this point, so unfortunately it's going to be a while before we have that hooked up. We are at a point where, because pikeman comes out next turn, so I'm just going to put this guy on alert because we no longer have a need to keep active eyes on this. The pikeman will come up here and then we'll just be done. I did want to remind everybody that in 3 turns we're going to vote on the World's Fair, I think it is, or the, what is it exactly? It doesn't say. I'm not going to bother digging through the first construction project that's available. I think there's like 2 or 3 of them across the arrows, but let's see. Alright, so metallurgy is finished, and this means we can upgrade our pikemen. What I'm going to do is something I've never tried before. I used to think that pikemen were always stuck. I shouldn't say always. I recently came to think that they were stuck in a lancer path, which does go on to be helicopter gunship. I don't know how good that is. I'm not very experienced with late game warfare. I thought I read something that their speed is quite nice or something, and they can like hover over mountains without taking damage. Anyways, but I used to think they were always stuck like that, so I started favoring, you know, the warrior path. But this right here says pikemen can upgrade to that too, and I'm kind of curious to see, does it offer a button just for this if you already have rifling? Do you have 2 buttons so you can actually choose which path they take? I don't know. So I guess what I'm getting at is I'm not going to upgrade all of my pikemen. The one that just spit out, since he's, whoops, what just happened? Embark mode. Okay, I clicked on it. I don't know what that means. Since this guy's furthest away from the action, I'm going to leave him as is, and then come rifling. I'm going to see what that looks like, because I'm curious. We'll try it both ways so I know what I'm talking about. 5 and 5. We've got to turn this on here. Let's see. 5 and 5. 5 and 5. 5 and 6. So we won't do that unless this actually does speed it up 1 turn. Okay, so we're going to leave it this way, and we are now out of improved planes here, so I'm glad we do have a worker heading this way. Let's scroll through our notifications here. Desires Broadway, I'm not interested. Desires trade route, it's coastal, and this is the city-state we used to have like 1,000,000 points with, so it is starting to fade. And the boat where I left a cliffhanger, do we feed Machu? Well, Machu's pretty well saturated, as you can see. We are going to build factory here, of course, and a onto research lab. So we will have need for more growth, but depending on how long this is going to actually remain, feeding Machu, 11 turns to go. So yeah, that'll be time to kick out another people or something. So yeah, I think we will probably send that to Melbourne to keep them topped off. We have to keep re-upping these guys. The patronage openers loan's not going to be good enough. Seek's a great artist, and look at that. We actually have one coming out in 2 turns. So let's see here. It's not going to be enough to take over allyship, but maybe we throw them some gold to bump it. I don't know. Seems like most of our gold is going to be going towards military upgrades. And I'm actually okay with that because Poland's score is better than ours. Alright, here we go. We'll move this guy into the city for now. Maybe have him either hang out on this border or like just garrison in the capital. That seems like an okay option. So we did all that. Let's move on to the rifling I was just talking about. Production projects. We have to keep in mind that in 3 turns we will be able to contribute to the World's Fair. So let's treat that as if, oh, these both need construction projects. Is that just the only ones? Okay, so we'll treat it as 2 turns we have to, tinker around with our things like pre-building harbor or building walls, stuff like that. Let's just get the walls out of the way. This is a border town. Poland's volatile. Probably way overdue, but, whatever. And we could do the same thing here. And then maybe next turn we'll pre-build the harbor. Harbor's not necessary other than the fact that it is a requisite for seaports. And, the seaports will actually, a little bit, just 2 tiles here, 1 tile here. But nevertheless, all the gold we can get, why not? In fact, I'm just curious, does Seaport have a maintenance associated with it? It does. Okay, so I guess it's more for building naval units more quickly. And who knows, there's a number of players that have found their way to the coast. So maybe that comes up, I don't know. I don't think we have to ever treat these cities up here as being worthwhile. So Lodge is all we really have to worry about, I think. Elizabeth seems to be doing something over here. Who knows? Anyways, you're gonna work on Cusco, so go do that. And look at that, if I hadn't pre-built that, I might have ended up here. No, I don't think so, because I jumped off the road, so never mind. Anyways, we can get started on that this turn. That's pretty nice. And he's going to pick up the gold, which is available next turn. There we go. Oh, he's got his own galleys, huh? Ah. Cool. Alrighty. Keep on cruising. Oh, even more gold. Gold's everywhere. It's unfortunate that they chose that instead of like platinum, because it allows for just a slight bit of ambiguity in whether you're talking about the luxury or the currency. Hopefully I'm not ever ambiguous in that fashion. I'm just going to include that. We want Olan to have as many of tiles as it can without stepping on things like this. Obviously any academy should be in the capital because of the extra multipliers we got there. So 5, and it don't matter the production time, we're just looking at growth. This is more food regardless, so yeah, that's fine. It's funny, we would have to build a mint and T1 in order for... And then I don't even think Olan would get the extra gold if it worked it, so that's unfortunate there. Alright, we just got the 1 turn. Oh, it's going to be 1 turn until the vote. It'll be available the turn after that. My mistake. So let's pre-build a castle, I guess. It's either that or harbor, but the harbor says 2 turns, so we would actually finish it. And there's no need to finish it. We don't want to be paying maintenance costs on a building that's not actually useful to us. Anyways, 6 and 1. So for now, we'll just throw him into a specialist slot, an engineer slot. And then once this comes out, we'll pop him back out so that he can be getting us good foods. Okay, we have gold to sell. Nobody that will give us a lump sum. So we'll just go to low man on the totem pole. See if buffing his happiness helps him to any extent. And all of that is not worth no. Okay. So same thing here. We can just build the castle outright. That'll be done in 2 turns. That's fine. Okay, so you go head towards the capital. We'll just garrison you there, I guess. Alert. Alright, so we can put down more plains farms in the capital. And we actually get to garrison that unit. Alrighty. I don't think that counts as a true garrison. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at this right now. Casimir has declared war on Washington. Well, that's probably just going to wipe Washington off, which actually might be a good thing, because that means everybody will hate Casimir, and that means I can then go to war with him, whittle down his army, and liberate the capital of America. And then everybody will love me, except for maybe Poland, but at that point he'll be relegated to inefficacy. Nice. That's pretty cool, actually. Alright, I just want to take a glance at this real quick. I think we already addressed the combat strength thing, but 204... 204. Okay, so naval units do not qualify for garrisoned units, and that's fine. I wouldn't have necessarily expected them to. America stole theology. Well, they're about to get wiped out anyways, but I will come save them at some point. I don't know if I can say exactly when. Yeah, we can already see 4 turns until growth, right? So then we'll actually have 2 guys that we could slot into a factory. So yeah, we know for sure that, and then, you know, after that we'll grow and possibly have somebody for a research lab. Great person born, which means we should have, yep, Florence recognizes a great artist. Wellington desires salt. Pakal has salt. And no longer friends with Anteater, so that's fine. So Pakal has salt, and we can probably just throw a little bit of cash at these guys and get the extra culture. We'd be taking them away from Sweden, which would upset him. The alternative is to wait for our guy to do that. In order to help us with this decision, I just want to quickly look at the culture to science ratio right now. 4 turns, and it's going to be 13 turns until, and it would be better for the culture to be late. So I'm not going to pay them. That way we don't piss Sweden off. And I don't know how the timing of this is going to go, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be around, right around, because I think this said it was only 9 turns, so the next one shouldn't be too much longer than that. Our culture is continuing to go up. So we should be able to do around replaceable parts, wait, finish out the rationalism tree, and then just have plastics. And I don't even know how necessary it is to be rapid like that, simply because we're going to be building factories. So anyways, there's some extra gold. Alright, we will sell it off to him. And so we're not going to throw gold at Florence to take them, because I think it would be a drop in the bucket. So really it's not even worth talking about, right? Because we're getting 26 culture from an ally and 13 culture. So if this went up by 13, that's like, I'm not even going to do the math. It's relatively insignificant is what I'm getting at. So we don't need to address that. But I would like to grab the salt. Who wants the salt? Let me see if it's worth my effort. It was a city-state, right? Okay. Oh, it's actually an ally we're on the verge of losing. So yes, I think that is worthwhile. We don't actually need the happiness. We could use the gold per turn, but Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we'll vote. Also, something I had forgotten about when we were choosing the leader, you saw me manually click. If you right-click, you can just delegate all remaining votes. So it goes a little bit quicker there. World's Fair, that's the word I was looking for. We got to be contributing to the World's Fair. And I looked it up so that we can time our production. We're not dumping excess hammers into it. Something like on an 8 civ map, it's something like 1,401 hammers, I think it said. Or right around there. So we'll just go ahead and throw up walls, because next turn we're going to need a new project anyways. Castle will be finished here. Yada yada. If Cusco's late, that's fine. Yeah, we're going to have to get those factories up. Anyways, Golden Age persists, I suppose, right? There's really no point in creating individual works here. And by doing that, because there always comes a point where I have to like actually build the museum, so I have artist slots for all the artifacts to come in, and I think that was poor tech choices on my part. So I'm thinking after plastics, maybe going towards railroad, not only to get railroad and the extra in Neuschwanstein, but then going for archaeology. And if we're using these guys for the Golden Ages, we're going to have a lot more work of art slots available than I normally have. So that should mean I should be able to house that many more artifacts. But again, that's getting way ahead of ourselves. But that's actually kind of the point. Like, I never, looking back, I don't think I ever handled my mid to late game tech pathing all that optimally. Because it's fun to send out the archaeologists and collect the wonders and play with the thingy bonuses. To me, it's fun. I enjoy that. You know, it's a little something a little more interesting to do. You can use your science advantage to basically pluck things all over the world that other people can't. Scholars in residence. I don't actually know what that one does. Is that the one that makes the great scientists and engineers happen more quickly? I will look into that for a second. Right now, I want to get everybody's construction projects into World's Fair. Let's bump out what we can now, and that way when we actually have the option of building factories, we can focus on that instead. So this is like a pre-planned lull in construction specifically for this. And it just occurred to me that once this finishes, our culture is going to go through the roof that much more. And this is part of the reason why I was thinking maybe the bulbing that one writer wouldn't have been the best idea, because we're kind of in this situation where we want to make sure we time the finishing of rationalism well, if we can. It's not that critical. Actually, now that I think about it, doesn't it? Yeah, Statue of Liberty gives you a free social policy. Okay, so that means no matter what, as long as we have rationalism all but finished, which we can do in 3 turns, which will up our gold, which will be nice. At that point, it doesn't even matter, because once replaceable parts is finished, we're literally going to be 1 turn away. In fact, we don't even have to be 1 turn away. We can see, oh, 1 turn to go before replaceable parts is finished. I'm going to buy the engineer now. Next turn. Oh yeah, I guess it would be after the turn, because the engineer can't finish it. So yeah, the very turn, as long as we pre-buy the great engineer, replacement parts finishes, we queue up Statue of Liberty, bring it down to 1 turn with our engineer. Next turn we get a free policy, hit this rationalism finisher, get plastics for free. Something like that. But again, I don't even know how necessary that rush is, simply because we're going to be busy building factories, because this one was buried under forest for some reason. That's annoying, but what can you do? Salt connected for Wellington, so they're going to continue to be ours for a while. Since I haven't done it in a while, let me just check in on where we're at. We're going to send them a trade route, so basically all of our would-be allies are going to persist, and this one we should probably pick up in the election, which will be in 10 turns. So no rush there. Make a proposal. We have 10 votes right now, it says. Obviously that can change. We'll have 30 turns to pick up that many more city-states. Our goal's kind of going to military, so I don't know how realistic that is, but we can do what we can try and do what we will. International games, that's the next big construction project. And it increases tourism for 100% for 20 turns. Oh, and free social policy. Okay, I was going to say the tourism doesn't look all that inviting. However, we will have, I hope, I assume, we'll have Eiffel Tower like in a few turns actually. So we will have a good amount of tourism, but I don't know how important it is to magnify it. The free social policy is kind of nice, but we really cranked up our culture. So we're doing just fine in the policy game. I don't see a need to do that unless it might be that international games is only available now because World's Fair got knocked out, and it could be because I think there's another one, something to do with Space Station or something like that. And it might not even be available unless we do international games. So maybe we should take international games, because what's the alternative? I'm not even going to bother with world religion. Our religion is not robust at this point, and there's no easy way to correct that. So I'm just going to kind of abandon. We got what we needed out of the religion, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Our cities are encircled. We're kind of locked in, so I'm not even going to bother with that. World ideology, it's like, yeah, I'm the only one with an ideology, so maybe nobody would downvote it, but I don't even know what the benefits are or why it would matter. So let's just do the international games. We've been a pretty good diplomat thus far, except for in the ancient era, obviously. And it looks like Poland will almost certainly wipe out Washington, at which point we can play the hero. So with the exception of Poland, who we can trivialize, I just don't see there being any... diplomatically, I guess what I'm trying to say is diplomatically we're going to be in a good position anyways. How long does this guy have to go? 4, and then he can come down here, chop this. We got some hills over here. This might be a good time to start buying jungle tiles, because it looks like our workers are just about getting caught up. Whoops, whoops, whoops. No, you do you. I'm seeing what Mr. Aluminum wants to do. Either way, we're going to be heading east, so let's just do that and go from there. Globe Theater, don't care. Although I think it's been a while since I've heard that. Wow.
It is well that war is so terrible.
Okay, so rifling is finished, and we have a great scientist. So now that rifling's finished, I want to see what this guy looks like. It says for 200 gold, I could upgrade to a Lancer. It says Lancer. Do you see that? I will wait one more turn, because I don't think we're going to have enough money to do all the upgrades we want, right? Because how much does it cost to do these guys? 160. Yeah, we got enough. We have three musketmen. So there's a rifleman. There's a rifleman. Oh, we got 1 per city. That kind of works out. Yeah. Okay. I really wanted to keep him on the melee track. I don't know if I would have built a pikeman if I thought I couldn't have done that. I'm going to wait one more turn, so I'll just wake this guy up and tell him to pass this turn. I'll come back to him. Maybe it's because like it's not the same turn. I don't know. I'll find out. Or try to. Okay, Great Scientist is born here. I'm pretty sure we're kind of still in the academy phase. Like once all the research labs are up, then maybe it'd be time to bulb. So yeah, we'll just send him this way and plant him. Actually, yeah, we could plant him on one of the undeveloped plains, and that would free up the workers even more. I like that idea. So I should not have come here. I should have ended my turn here, and as a result, this academy is going to come up 1 turn late because I wasn't thinking ahead. But that's okay, because I usually do. Alrighty, what's going on here? 5 and 2. There's probably no way we can speed up growth. Yeah. So let's get back to doing some strong production tiles. 1 strong production tile, because that's a really good one. Yeah. Okay. How soon until you are done? 5. Alright. So maybe we will finish off the Grand Temple after the Eiffel Tower. We can take a peek at how the games are going. 9%, 229. Alright. So maybe we put in, because once we go to build the factories, how much coal? I didn't even bother. So we're only going to have 3. Okay. Well, definitely one in the capital. I think that goes without saying. This is a big daddy here. As far as the other two, I'm thinking the coastal cities, and the reason for that is because Tijuana already has more specialist slots than I can work right now, and that's partially because it's the only other city outside the capital where we could have built a windmill. So, and of course, as our city-states pick up coal, I didn't even bother seeing that. Yeah, Kuala Lumpur will eventually. Monaco appears to have some developed in their city, so I'm guessing there's a tech issue here that they haven't actually reaped the coal. We can just see it's there. But once that comes in, we will get more coal. So it's not like T1's got to go without a factory indefinitely. I just think in the short term, putting them up in the coastal cities so that they have more specialist slots makes sense to me. So Mombasa longs for culture. Good. Anything we can do to get them topped off-ish. Okay, on to steam power. What do these guys take? They take coal as well, so we are going to have to wait to upgrade those until we can get coal from a city-state. Now, gold-wise, we're looking at possibly 200 to upgrade him. The boats, that'll come later. Then we're going to have a bunch of these guys to upgrade. And I think this... No, this is what our... You know what? We kind of have to save all our gold for upgrades. So what I'm going to do with this worker... Well, no, because chopping down the forest and putting up the planes here, he can do that. Scientist is coming here. This guy's working on that. So really, Cusco is sorted. We can treat Cusco like it's fully sorted. So that means all we got left is these 2 hills. And... Okay, hopefully in 5 turns we're going to pick up this jungle. I don't even know why it's in competition with this. This is 4th ring. We can't work it. There's no resources there. Why would that even be split? If you guys know of a mod that makes adjustments to the way the governor thinks, I might be willing to try something like that out, because this right here is flat out ridiculous. And this is not the only thing to complain about with regards to the governor choosing tiles. There's a number of things that could probably be fixed, but under these circumstances, this jungle tile should not even be in the same ballpark as this. That's what I think. Okay, so gems are coming back, I'm guessing. We got a lot of people asking for marble, and unfortunately the only marble I know of is up here. It looks like he's got one, he's got one. As far as I know, these are the only marble on the map. So, and the fact that it's Cusco, like, that kind of bothers me, but, you know, there's nothing we can do. We're going to be stymied that way. Okay, so I don't think we have any city-states that want us to connect gems, so I don't see a reason not to go ahead and sell them back to him.
Ah, välkommen.
Losing grasp on Almaty, don't care. If you send us a unit on our last turn, great. If not, so what? Right, so that is a good tile. Let's work it. And now, unless more jungles come into our sphere of influence, we will be manning these slots finally here. Let's take a peek at this. 409. Alright, so we are underway. Let's see. Defend. Yeah, still. So then I wonder why this even bothers saying. Is that yellow text there saying pikemen? Is that like part of the standard UI, or is that something that the enhanced user interface is tacked on? Because near as I can tell, it's false. It's not giving me the choice here. And if I go to Lancers that already exist, right, there's no option to upgrade. So I'm not sure what that's about. But I'd like to get to the bottom of that, because I think it's unfortunate that there's a point in the earlier game where pikemen or spearmen are superior, but I'm reluctant to employ them because they become inferior. And I'd like to figure out if that's something I actually need to be doing or not. Okay, you come down here. There's no need to protect it that I can see. Alright, there we go. Okay, so this is the half-hour mark, so I'm going to pin it off here. I'm really stumped about this. I want to look it up. Because I saw a flow chart online. That's because I found that hard to believe. I was like, I thought they were stuck into this track that sucks at this point because they got to become mounted. And I found this like pictograph flow chart that also said that these could come into that. So I'm not sure what the deal is. I got to look it up. Anyways, thanks for joining me. Please leave your comments below. Any thoughts you have, the current trajectory, future plans. I try to talk a little bit in advance just in case I'm about to steer off course. You guys can help keep me in check. I think this is on par. We're going to be a little backed up because of hard building the factories, but it's not going to be by much, so I'm not too worried about that. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next part. Take care.